There we go. Sweden against Russia. Now, Sweden's one of the stronger teams this season. At the top of the standings, either 1 or 2. Currently number 2 behind Poland. And the first match, it's gonna be Body against Lancer X. Now I think we don't have this replay. Let me just double check. And one of these sets, favored against Grind Boss, aka Casper, was actually not played because Casper never showed up. So we're gonna start off with Storm Toss and Bandy. Just 1 second. Alright, let's go into that first game. In the bottom left, we have Storm Toss representing Team Sweden as the blue Protoss. And in the bottom right, we have the purple Zerg Bandy representing Team Russia. Map is Neo Sylphid. We've seen a ton of ZVP on Neo Sylphid. Just seems like the map for it. Storm Toss is another one of these low APM Protoss, but like Quark, just because they're low APM doesn't mean they're not good. Very strong player. And let's see how he positions the pylon. We're gonna get the pylon at the natural and no immediate scout. Bandy meanwhile going for that Overlord first. Still nothing from Storm Toss. So it's not gonna be a gateway. This could still be Forge Expand, but it could also be Nexus first. Because he's queuing up probes, this is gonna be Forge. With Nexus, you stop at 11. And there's the overpull from Bandy. Protoss only does this really because they can get that faster Forge and Nexus by delaying the scout. And this is risky, of course, against certain builds, 9 pool and earlier pools. Protoss is vulnerable, and of course against 12 hatch, because you don't scout immediately, you don't know what Zerg is up to, you make this Forge anyway. And as a result, if you're facing a 12 hatch, all of a sudden you made a Forge first that you didn't need, but because overpull is so common, this is just a build design to be optimized against that. We have Bandy just making the 2 set of lings. The cannon is already up, so Storm Toss is going to have that up in time. And here we have Storm Toss completely getting that scout off, knows it's overpull, sees only 2 lings made, only needs the 1 cannon. And there's the gateway. Second pylon, and we should see that gas shortly. Bandy gonna take the 3 o'clock spawn as his third. It has the advantage of having a gas and an easy to defend ramp, as opposed to this space, which reduced minerals and gassing completely open, and the mineral only. He could have also taken another natural or even the 7 o'clock spawn very close to Protoss. One of the reasons why Sylphid is unique is because, at least in this matchup, Zergs can take several bases as an option for the third. Protoss as well, he can take mineral only, 11 o'clock, or the middle green gas base. Core being made, and we have the gas being mined. And Bandy looks like he's gonna go for that lair. Lair a little bit behind the core, but not so much that the Corsairs would be way too fast for him to defend. As long as he hides the overlords, he'll have enough time to get those Scourge up. See, Storm Toss. APM has gone up as he's trying to keep this probe alive. It's funny, if this probe burned alive, or if this weren't required, I'm pretty sure Protoss would be at half the APM in the early game. Basically, you're only making probes, sending them to mine, and making sure the scout is kept alive. You see, +1 already started before Stargate. Bandy will see this. It's a very fast +1. There's nothing in the main, no Stargate, no Citadel. Should see a Citadel coming down soon. We're making a Dragoon, and this is to shoo away the Overlord. And there's a Citadel from Storm Toss. So Bandy is well aware it's Citadel before Stargate. Now it's going to be annoying with this Dragoon killing his Overlord. Should retreat once you scout the tech. Shouldn't really linger around. And looks like the Overlord at the front is also going to be exposed. Now this other Overlord will be able to run away. Cannon even helping out. Second gateway by Storm Toss. This could still be something other than 4-gate speed lot, and it is because we have that fast second gas. So it's just going to be 2-gate speed lot with a fast Archives follow-up. And the response to these two builds is different. But because the Overlord at the natural died, he's not going to be able to confirm that gas timing at the natural. That's basically the next big moment once you scout Citadel first. And let's see what Bandy's response is going to be. We do have that Spire on the way. He should be able to get mutas out to defend. There's the speed. We do have this Archive, so I'm pretty sure we're going to see... I mean, we do have the second gas, so we'll see that Archive soon. Nope, looks like a Stargate follow-up. And this is all kinds of strange. He's also getting +1, so he's predicting the mutas, but these Corsairs aren't going to be in time. And Zerg isn't necessarily going to mass mutas. They could just open mutas and then transition out of it. And there we have the mutas being made by Bandy. It's going to need a sunken. Mutas won't be in time against this kind of Zealot move out. The Link's slightly out of position. Getting one Zealot before it has +1. And Bandy with the SimCity is blocking the hatchery, but yeah, actually SimCity poorly. There's a gap on the right side of this hatchery. Zealot's ignoring the sunken and the muta. This is a very common theme with early gate. Early speed out attacks. You can see his Zealot's not with speed. They just ignore the mutas, target the drones while Protoss prepares for the mutas back at home. Zealots are very tanky. It's actually double Stargate follow-ups. So that's the reason for that second gas. I thought it would be Archives, but it's actually double Stargate to get Corsairs up. And there's Hydra speed. So Zerg is already transitioning out of this. Again, not a very heavy investment in the mutas. Mutas just being kept back at home to defend from the Zealots. But really needed some kind of scouting for Bandy to realize this is what's going on. 6 hatch and evolution chamber, and the mutas only 5. Enough to one-shot probes, and then transitioning into Hydra's. Hydra speed is already on the way. We have +1 armor and +1 weapons for the air units. +1 armor for ground. Already have 3 Corsairs. Here's a muta micro, but with enough cannons to defend, won't be able to accomplish much. Every volley will kill a probe, and now he's going to scout the Corsair switch. Should split these mutas to try to save as many as they can. And immediately Hydra's into production. Got some weapons on the way. Range start as well as Overlord speed. And this is a ton of Hydras in production. The Overlords are exposed, at least momentarily. 5 Corsairs can ignore low number of Hydras. And here comes the Zealots as well to support. Even if he trades away these Zealots, he will be able to kill off all these Overlords. Nope, looks like he's just going to retreat. Finds another stray Overlord here. Stormtoss really needs to add those additional gateways here. So the mutas have gone back to the natural. And now with only 4 mutas, it's going to be a lot harder for him to trade off effectively. Mutas no longer one-shot the probes. I like the links being spread out to scout bases out on the map. We have 1 High Templar. So it's only going to be 1 Storm. So if Bandy attacks, this is a moment of weakness for Stormtoss. He's adding that 3rd cannon just for some security. The Corsairs have been split. This 8 Corsairs very threatening. 1 DT out on the map, but enough Hydras here to defend. And here comes that counter pressure from Bandy, but Protoss will have enough storms, I think. And he has gone up to 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 gateways. +1 armor done. And Robo has been started. A little bit of pressure, but he has to be careful against the storm. Basically, Zerg only pressures until they scout that storm, and pretty sure he'll retreat. Still have the 8 Corsairs with +1. No 7th hatch, 4th base from Bandy. We have the Robo and Dragon range being researched. And there's that 4th base from Zerg. Oh, gets blocked by one of his own Hydras. Another Overlord gonna go down. And I think these Corsairs have paid off. Have really slowed down Bandy. Effectively dealt with those mutas and have killed a ton of Overlords. Now he's not stacking them. You can see he doesn't have a trap probe. Protoss pumping out 8 gateways. Curiously not getting a 2nd forge or not even upgrading from that first one. And no Robos quite yet from Bandy. So I think Bandy's going to transition into Mutalisk again and just use the Mutalisk to snipe the High Templars. Too many Corsairs out on the map currently for that, but he is getting +1 air carapace and he's making a lot of Scourge. If he can flank the Corsairs, effectively kill them off and then switch into Mutalisk. But I still think this is kind of a big risk. Protoss already prepared for the Mutalisk switch. Corsairs would have to be very effective. There's about 14 Scourge here. Spent all of his gas on that. He's getting +2 weapons. And Stormtoss is taking that middle green base as his 3rd. 4 Templars already has Templar energy actually. So not only do these Templars eventually get enough. Oh, the Corsairs looks like not the best Scourge. That was 14 Scourge and only 1 Ser went down. Very painful moment there for Zerg. Zerg does have a ton of Hydras. How many High Templars do we have here? We have 4 High Templars. Each should have almost 2 storms, looks like. 2 have 2 storms, 1 will soon, and this one's a little bit lagging behind. The longer this goes on, the more energy these High Templars will have. Looks like Stormtoss finally gonna move out after establishing his 3rd. He does have good upgrades, 1-1 against only 1-0 Hydras, but the Zerg is flanking, coming from the back as well. The High Templars aren't in position. Looks like Stormtoss is going to retreat to deal with these countering Hydras. Looks like the Zealots have been dealt with, but the Hydras are getting clumped up here. This could be a good position for him to storm. If he can snipe off that forge and retreat, I think that'll be a victory on its own. Looks like Bandy does kill out that forge. No storms have gone off. One storm is a big whiff. Hydras are engaging wall at the natural. Looks like Stormtoss not controlling his units. Hydras broke through the natural. Nice storm clips two of the Hydras, but the Hydras just move out of the storm. He is going to get cleaned up. But that was a very effective attack. Corsairs are countering now, and all the Corsairs have gone down. All of a sudden, this looks pretty bleak for Stormtoss. Zerg doesn't have very good drone saturation though. Fourth isn't saturated quite yet, and the third has very few drones on minerals, only 6. I just can't target this next. It's like there. Where's the High Templar? I didn't even see it. Where is this High Templar? Looks like very well hidden here between 2 cannons, hugging that nexus. You can see the power of this Templar energy. They spawn with 62, immediately ready to storm, and this High Templar actually has 3 storms. And he finally made some drones here, but he really needs to saturate these 2 bases. Putting on this kind of pressure, eventually Zerg starts running out of fumes. They start taking bad engagements. The storm is powerful. You see Protoss double forge upgrading. Zerg does have +2, and finally joining up. But this joining up point should have been a lot earlier. Zerg should be on more production here. 8 gateways currently against only 7 hatcheries. Zerg finally adding in some lurkers. We have observers ready, and we have a ton of Dragoons, High Templars. This one High Templar will have storms soon, 3 storms soon, and Banny's still putting on the pressure. But I like that he finally droned up behind this. He's still scouting Stormtoss's base. Stormtoss actually not in any hurry really. Surprise are pretty close, which usually means Zerg is in a good position. And I think he is, with this 4th saturated. 3rd is still a little bit under droned, but there's a ton of Hydras. He's finally adding lurkers to his composition. He really just has to find good angles to engage from. You can see now this base is a little bit exposed. There's only 1 storm here. I like that Stormtoss is always leaving 1 High Templar back, and he's actually going to get caught off guard. He's going to retreat quickly, and that's a very nice storm. Only 2 cannons here. See the lurkers and Hydras clumping up here. Then he has to spread out his units as best as he can. Should really be looking to flank this army as the storms are being used up. Where are the Hydras? There's only lurkers now, and lurkers against mostly Dragoons, not a very good engagement there. All the lurkers get cleaned up, unfortunately, for Bandy. Hydra's just a little bit late in arriving to support. Looks like we had a control group of Hydras at the 9 and another one at the 3rd. And it's starting to feel like Zerg, for a moment there, Zerg was having the good engagements, taking good fights, catching Protoss off guard, but just a little bit slow to reinforce that position. Looks like Zerg not rallying to 1 locations. Rallies all over the place. Some rallies here and at the natural. And the Nexus didn't even go down. And here comes the big attack from Stormtoss. +2/+2. Almost done. He's attacking just before that finishes, but he senses a moment of weakness here for Zerg after cleaning up all his lurkers. We have some additional lurkers being made, but they're just morphing now. And Protoss, nice storm there. Decent dodge from Zerg. Spreading out those lurkers. It's a nice burrow. Decently spread out. And it's mostly only Dragoons left, but just waiting for that 2-2 to finish. Give Protoss that big power boost. Looks like Zerg is just going to be able to hold on. The reinforcement from Protoss a little bit late. But I shouldn't press, really waiting for those reinforcements and 2 High Templars. The perfect reinforcement here. They each have 2 storms, and he's at Zerg's rally. This is always risky for Zerg when Protoss gets on top of the rally, can storm units as they're being sent there. No Zealots in this comp, just Dragoon, High Templar, perfect against Hydra Lurker. An Archon that was being morphed here, being utilized to tank, and the rally has been broken, and now this position allows him access to natural and the 3rd base, or 4th base. Zerg is coming from behind with Hydras, but Protoss has enough storm to deal with these flanks. Zerg is running out of units here. The Sunken providing some support. Hydra Den does go down. Bandy can't make any more Hydras. Can only produce Lings and Mutas now. 4th setup for Protoss. He always leaves that 1 High Templar with his new bases, which is very good against dealing with counters. Bandy hasn't realized his Den has gone down. You can see his larva is not being utilized. He's just spamming make Hydras, SH, SH, but nothing comes out. And that's why he's flooding all these minerals now. Finally making something out of those hatcheries, and it's Lings, but unfortunately there's going to be 0-0 Lings against a 2-2 Protoss, and Bandy taps out. So it's a point for Russia. I've confirmed Lancer X won against Fadi, but I still don't have that replay. And we're at 1-1 currently. And we're going to head into Favorite against Grybos. Nope. That was won by Favorite walkover, so we're just going to jump into that 2v2 with Sweden up 1 point. Alright, let's look. We have very similar colors. I don't know what this is. So we have Favorite and Marwin on the right side. As a Protoss Terran team, and we have Silver and Sting on the left side, representing Team Russia. Unique to see PT teams, but Favorite and Marwin have been representing Team Sweden for 2 seasons now. Protoss usually goes Corsairs in this position, and this will be interesting because normally you'd say Zerg Terran is very favored in this matchup, but it always comes down to execution and strategy. We have Sting setting up to wall. Marwin is as well, of course. Very important to have walls. It allows you to defend 2v1 attacks as Terran while you have minimal units, usually just a Marine or 2. Oh, trying to go for that gas deal. But Sting sees that, immediately makes his gas, even if he doesn't need it so fast. Getting gas stolen in this matchup is very, very painful. You want to get tech units out against Terran Protoss. And we have an overpull from Silver with a fast gas. No 12 hatch. And there's a gas from Favorite. Sting finally starting to make his gas. Probe is still alive in his main, very low HP. Marwin also going for gas. And here's Silver making the second hatchery at his ramp. I'm very curious. Fairy getting a Zealot before his core. Doesn't want to be vulnerable to early Ling attacks. And there's a complete wall from Sting. Larry immediately buys silver. Only 2 links being made. One sent out to scout and the other chasing the SCVs, making more links behind us. And Protoss getting that core. Another Zealot. With 2 Zealots, he'll be able to effectively block the ramp. And with 2 Zealots and a Dragoon, Dragoons will be very secure and provide support against early link attacks. Second factory by Sting. Marwin also going up to 2 factories. Looks like the wall wasn't complete. 1 lane gets in, gets that scout. This lane is actually very important. It at least confirms it's not double starport. Double starport would be risk with the Protoss player also going for tech. It looks like he wants to put on more pressure, and Marwin not going to allow that, just blocking off. He actually delayed his Marine very long so he could get that second factory up faster. And now he has a complete wall, and these links will be made useless. Spire going down. We have a sunken as well. A lot of links were made by Silver. You can see his economy is quite poor, so he's just pulling off gas to get more mineral income. And I like how he positions his Spire. This means that if a run by were to occur, it wouldn't be effective in killing the Spire because Spire is where the sunken is. And looks like Sting is going to go for Goliath drop to support the Mutalist play. And we have Ceres being made by Favorite. So we have Goliath drop, Mutas against Goliath and Corsair. Third factory going up for Marwin. Neither Terran player really getting a ton of vultures, just 1 for Marwin, none for Sting. It's like 1 Overlord's gonna go down. Favorite only making the 1 Corsair, second Corsair, and then you got just playing it safe, getting these cannons up before more Corsairs. And Sting supply blocked here. Really needs Scourge, not Mutas. It's a little bit vulnerable here. Looks like Favorite senses that and just stays here targeting that Overlord. There's a moment where Favorite is going to be vulnerable to this Goliath drop. Marwin will take a lot longer to get to his base than Sting with this these 4 Goliaths. He's actually already moving out. And he's going... not really sure what his plan is. He's saying go Terran, but Terran is not where they want to go. Terran will also have his own Goliaths. Protoss is vulnerable here. Well, Protoss actually getting a second getaway. Maybe he sensed something. It's only 1 dropship worth of Goliaths. And Marwin will have the third factory. What? They're saying no. Corsair is now on top of the... Oh, this is so risky. It's like they're dropping off. There's only 1 cannon here. 4 Goliaths will be able to kill that. What's being made out of this gateway looks like nothing. More cannons being added. The Goliaths do have a lot of range. There's only 1 cannon left. There's 3 Zealots here, which will be able to buy him some time. Looks like one of the Goliaths was very low in the red. And unless he's microing, these Zealots will be able to do a ton of damage to these Goliaths. Looks like it's not microing there for a second. 2 Goliaths in red. Another drop comes in. And now it's 7. But here come Marwin's Goliaths. Dropship does go down. More Corsairs being made. And what was this? The Goliaths, the AI, something happened there. They just walking through the cannon fire. And now Marwin's here to provide support to his ally. And all of Sting's Goliaths go down. He's going to take the island as his third base. But that was disastrous. I thought it would do a lot more damage. Looks like Sting is going to take that third hatch, but they don't have any more map control. This is nice, getting tanks, and with the dropship he will be able to provide some defense with tank here. But you see Python's naturals are very exposed, very open. Something happened there. It was 7 Goliaths, and they just walked through the cannon fire. Even though they would have gotten eventually cleaned up, that could have done a ton of damage to Favorite's economy. This thing double expanding, and where's the dropship with the tank support for Silver? That's what he really needs in this moment. It's only 8 mutas. There's a ton of Goliaths, and there's Corsair support. Where are the tanks? Tanks late to the party. Siege is done. Corsairs just chasing the mutas. Mutas don't have carapace upgrades. These are +1 Corsairs. Team Sweden can't just break here. It's only the 1 sunken 2 tanks. The tanks are very powerful. And they just retreat, knowing they can expand freely behind this. I'll even take this space. Silver is double expanding. Or I should say Sting is double expanding. And looks like they're gonna go in for the kill. Siege going down now, but it's a little bit late. Marwin can just move his Dragoons, target that tank. There's only 1 tank and 1 sunken left. Dragoons are moving forward. How do I get rid of this? There we go. Only 1 tank left. Another sunken being added, but no mutas being able to be made. Would just die instantly to these Corsairs. 1 more sunk is asking Sting, and even if they had that sunken, I think the position on the map was just too good for Team Sweden. And GG. Tough game, tough game. That's 3-1 Sweden, and we're gonna go to the next set. It's gonna be Oya against Gornich. And I'm actually gonna take a break here, a very short break. Sorry for the delay. It's not gonna be the full 4 minutes, but I'll be right back. Just once. And we're back. In the top right, we have RK Oya as the purple Perdos for Team Sweden, and in the bottom left, we have the blue Zerg Gornish representing Team Russia, and the map is Polypoint. Sweden 1 point away from winning the set, but we still have Russia's 2 best players yet to play. We have Gornich now, and then DeWalt next. If they both win, we'll have an ace. Otherwise, Team Sweden will win the week. We have IRK Oya setting up to take that expansion. See if it's going to be 1 gate or forge expand. These are big tell us what the probe does next. Probe goes back. And we have the gateway expand from Oya. Gornich on the other side is going for that overpull. 1 drone being sent out to scout, and now this is a really fast scout. Usually you scout only after getting 9 on minerals. He actually went up for a scout even before that. I wonder why that is. I think Oya is known as an aggressive player, really likes to mix things up. So Gornich wants to get that scouting information as quickly as possible. Is this drone gonna be able to get that hatchery up in time? Probe is on its way. Oh, it's gonna be close. Gornich actually hiding it. No, he could have made it, but hides it for a second, makes it anyway. And 2 lings made it right off the bat. Gornich scouting. Is not bottom left or top left, so he's gonna go top right. And it's cross map 1 gate, which is good for Zerg. For us, really slowed down by this cross position. First all on the way, but you can see how slow this is. Drone scout, and you can see more links being made by Gornich. I see going for that gas before that 3rd hatch. Looks like the retreating drone will make that 3rd hatchery at the 3rd, and it looks like he's gonna go to 9 o'clock. We see this is a BSL version of Polypoid. There's that that bear almost blocking the drone from getting up the ramp. And here's that first zealot from Oya, finding a good position here. We're only 1 link can engage. I think 2 if Gornich controls it properly. 2 links go down for that zealot. Second zealot going towards that mineral only. Sees it's not there. Gornich took the other base as his 3rd. After dealing with that first zealot, he's droning up behind us. Manages to catch this second zealot. If Gornich had moved out there, it would have been disastrous for him if this zealot got in behind his Zerglings. Another good position for Zealot. Only 2 lings able to tag it. 3 now that Gornich realizes. And there's that 3rd zealot for Oya. Oya behind us, already getting that forge. Another zealot. Core not quite yet on the way, but he does have the gas already mining. Only 3 Zerglings left for Gornich. So he made a couple more, up to 5. And the pressure is not letting up. Oya is not letting up on the pressure. Another zealot being rallied across the map. This is slowing down his cybernetics core timing. And again, training off 2 links for that zealot. Oya finding the good positions on the map behind the mineral lines. You have another zealot here. As long as it's spotted, Gornich will be fine. You really should keep out 1 ling at the front and then the rest behind at the near his bases. He sees this other zealot moving out, and he might be able to spot this one at his mineral only. Looks like link speed actually just finishes there, so this zealot pressure is all but over. Well, he has traded off 5 zealots for what seems like not a ton of economic damage. It has forced Gornich to make probes, Zerglings instead of drones, and you can see it's telling in the economic difference. But now with Zergling speed, it's very unlikely Oya will continue to put on that pressure. So you can see Gornich can drone up freely now. And look at this, we have Dragoon range and a Citadel being researched, second gas being added. So this isn't going to be Stargate, it's going to be Speedlot, it's going to be Dragoon mixed in with Speedlots. And Gornich behind us is on 5 hatch. Recently started mining gas again after getting his 5 hatcheries up. He's getting a Hydra Den at his natural for Sim City, very nice. And he's power droning behind us. There's a Citadel for Oya. He's on 3 gateways, adding Dragoons. Gornich is going to get that scouting information. Now, this is a new style of scene where Protoss gets Dragoons, Zealots, and upgrades. Tons of upgrades. So we have +1 almost done. And we should see that second forge being added so Protoss can start 2-1. Probably even in Archives. But Protoss, to do this, does delay their Archives timing significantly. Or not their Archives timing, but their Storm timing. They don't really get Storm with this. Gornich just droning up heavily behind this, getting lair as well. And this can Third. Okay, so Oya doesn't really know that it's 5 hatch. Otherwise, we wouldn't see this anti-muta cannon being made there. Another gateway being added, and there's the archives. And it's gonna time out so that +1 finishes, and then the archives is done. So Oya can start +2. Will we see a second forge? Hornet's still droning up. Has lair complete. Hydras don't have speed quite yet. Looks like Gordon's just preparing for this attack. But because look how small this attack is really. It's only 6 Dragoons, 3 Zealots. Zealots don't even have speed quite yet. About to finish. I think Gornich is overreacting, but his Hydra upgrades aren't there yet. Speed only just finished. They don't have range. Oya going up to 6 gateways. Getting another cannon. And that second forge. +2 weapons started. And easy defense for Gornich. He has enough Hydras, about 18 Hydras to defend. I heard something cancel, and it was the anti-muta cannon. After scouting the front, seeing all these Hydras, Oya realizes it's not Mutalisk. Of course, Gornich can always transition back into Mutas. He does have that lair, but only utilizing it for actually nothing quite yet. No Overlord speed, no Lurker. It looks like Oya wants to take a third base. If Gornich just keeps massing Hydras behind us and attacks, there is a timing where Oya won't have Storm. It looks like he has 2 High Templars gathering energy. The Storm is still about 30 seconds away. We see Gornich ready to move out now. Oya will have at least this high ground to defend this base. And Gornich setting up to take a 4th base behind this. It's a ton of Hydras. Oya sees this and immediately retreats, trying to get back to his high ground. A couple cannons being added. More Zealots being rallied. Where are the High Templars? It's like not that much. The Dragoons with range will help on this high ground. Zealots will eat most of the Hydra fire as the Dragoons shoot from behind. Cannons are finally complete. Looks like Gornich is here. He immediately kills both of the cannons. Here come the High Templars from behind. Only 2 storms, but as long as he stays on this high ground, Dragoons will be very effective against the Hydra. Nice storms on one of the group of the Hydras. They retreat, dodge most of that storm. Second storm, similar. And looks like Oya is just barely going to be able to hold. Gornich left with only 7 Hydralisk. And Oya gets that 3rd base. And now he's upgrading from 2 forges. Looks like 2-1 is almost done. This is extremely fast 2-1. Robo only now being added. And there's +2 for Zerg. So this is a very comfortable position for Protoss now. Deflected that first Hydra attack. None of the High Templars died, so even though they use all their storms, you can see he's almost ready again with them to storm. This is looking very good for Oya. 3rd base getting saturated, and he's going to put on pressure. He can actually even expand again if he wanted to here. Has to be a little bit careful. Doesn't have any detection. Looks like we had a drone heading out. And looks like he's going to attack Gornich now. And Gornich, just before Lurkers are done, he's a little bit vulnerable here. The Dragoons are in position. This 3rd actually has no defense, no units there. Looks like he's engaging just before the High Templars get here. Gornich takes, does a lot of damage to these Dragoons. Dodges that storm. 2-1 is done. Here come the High Templars with more storm. Morphs into an Archon. Still has 2 storms left, and 1 second storm will be in a couple seconds. And Lurkers unburrow or finish morphing and unburrow. These Lurkers are very clumped and critically nothing to defend this 3rd base, but Oya doesn't know that, and it would be a very big risk to go up this ramp and get flanked. So you can see he's a little bit tentative. And he retreats, but he actually set up a 4th base during that time. He's still only on the 7 gateways, so very low gateway count, but setting up another base. and he's just retreating. He's powering on his upgrades. 3-2 on the way. These Hydras only have 1-0. He's getting a second upgrade for the Hydra weapons and taking a 5th base. So 5 bases for Gornich against 4 from Oya. Setting up to be a very long macro game here. Sunkens being made on this high ground. If with enough Sunkens and Lurkers, it's very hard for Protoss to attack into these bases. This is one of the features of Polypoid. Every base on the map is either on a high ground or behind a ramp, so it could be hard to attack a fortified player, Zerg especially, with Lurkers and Sunkens. Look at Oya's army positioning. He's not really keeping it on a ball. He's just trying to zone out Zerg. It's very curious. And when he sees Zerg's movement, he goes to that location. Oya's army is just basically everywhere. Gornich still just taking that 5th base, and it's completely undefended. But Oya is not scouting. He's just zoning out the Zerg, really. Keeping units to cut off angles that Zerg could take to go out on the map. And he's taking a 5th base behind this. Went up to 10 gateways. And now we see finally that hive for Gornich. And Gornich really needs that hive. Otherwise, he's going to fall behind on the upgrades. Support bay already done for Oya. He's getting a second robo at this outlying base. And look at Oya's army. He's not attacking. Just zoning out the Zerg. Making sure Zerg can only stay on their quadrant of the map as he expands freely behind this. 3-2 is almost done. We actually have a ramp here that leads out. So Gornich is still able to get out on the map. And Gornich still has like this entire area to move out. Not a very effective strategy on this map, but it has allowed Oya to get a ton of bases up. 5 bases against 5. Usually favors Zerg. Protoss. Zerg does have a hive and they're getting defilers. And Oya is soon to be maxed with a very powerful ground army. 3-2. He's already getting shield and his 3rd armor upgrade. You see those 2 armored dragoons last very long against these lings that don't have any melee upgrades quite yet. Still no crack. Crack just finished, and he's getting consumed, drop, and upgrades from 2 evolution chambers. Again, this map is very hard to attack. You can see he has to go up a ramp into a choke or up a ramp, and looks like he's gonna attack to this space. There's a ton of lurkers on this high ground. Only 1 Sunken to support, but the 1 Sunken is very tanking, especially on the high ground. We have a storm here on lurkers. The lurkers are very well spread out. Oya really needs to engage this with the dragoons. High Templars first shouldn't go in with the zealots like this. Zealots die to the storm and the lurker splash. And you can see he's being forced to retreat there. More lurkers coming up and burrowing. Filer is ready. Can consume Zerglings. And once that consumes them, it's even harder for Protoss to bring. You see Protoss leaving a lot of units at his bases to defend from counters. Templar energy also done. Nice storm there on that clump of Hydras. Looks like High Templar is ready to use another storm, but it gets picked off, and Oya actually forced to retreat. He spent a lot of APM during that attack, just focusing on the fight, so his macro slipped a little bit. You can see he's on top of everything else. Fully teched up, 5 bases. Zerg finally getting some upgrades on those lanes. 1-1 done. He's getting weapons too. He's getting Plague now, and Plague is like the key upgrade in ZVP late game. Protoss goes for these double forges to get these armor upgrades, but the Plague can negate that entirely. Third evolution chamber being added for Gornich, and he's finally getting more upgrades in Carapace. He's gonna need to catch up. Plague will give him some way to combat the Protoss upgrades in the meantime. And let's see, it looks like Oya wants to set up, no, it looks like Gornich wants to set up a 6 base. Oya content, don't see him expanding anymore, even though he could easily do so. Has the minerals, has the map control. He's getting +1 air weapons and a second, oh actually it's just the first target, and that's pretty good. Zerg can always transition into Guardians, which can be annoying. Oya did skip Stargate. Look how hard it is for Protoss to attack. But now we finally have a shuttle with 2 Reavers, and this will allow him to break fortified Zerg positions. Still hard to control, controlling your army, your Reavers, your shuttles, your High Templars as well. But with patience and good control, the Reavers are very effective in this matchup. You see he has 3 Robos, one at his main, one at his outlying bases each. We have 2 actually at this base. And we're going to start seeing Oya transition away from Zealot Dragoon into more Reavers. Oh, looks like the Reavers are exposed here. Get left behind and picked off, unfortunately, there. A little bit of indecisiveness with Oya. His army just moving around the map, not really attacking, even though he has the potential to do so now. Just moving forward, sniping off some High Templars, and now there's 0 High Templars with this army. It's just Zealot Dragoon and Archon, which in the mid game is actually very strong, but here it's no longer that powerful, really. Even with these upgrades, just 1 Plague and Swarm especially will just nullify all these Dragoons, limit the Archon's effectiveness, and that's only Zealots against Cracklings, and if they're Plagued especially, just very, very vulnerable army. Looks like Gorin just setting up to take another base, and this is the moment where he can catch Oya's army split. It's off guard, caught off guard. Don't have that much splash, only 1 Reaver and 1 High Templar. And here comes the flank from Gornich. Tons of lurkers at the back, and with only 2 storms, no storms left for Oya. Reaver goes down, and all of a sudden that map control that Oya had is completely gone. His army was split there. He does have a ton of minerals. He can easily reproduce there, but he's lost everything, and Gornich can now freely expand. He does have tools at his disposal with these Robos, these speed shuttles. He does have very nice upgrades. And he still has the 5 bases from earlier. His main and natural mining out now. But he still has a ton of minerals, tons of gas in the bank. Gornich catching up in upgrades, and that's going to start changing things. We have Defilers with Swarm ready. He's pushing Oya back, and I guess this is the most vulnerable base for Oya. It's on a high ground, but it's not behind a ramp. It doesn't have any Robos with Reavers to protect. And this is so many lurkers. This is actually too many lurkers. It's hard to attack with this many lurkers. As Protoss starts mixing in different units, mixing in more Archons, High Templars, and Reavers, Zerg will also start making less lurkers and more just Hydro Lings and Defilers. Lurkers are very hard to attack with. Only used to defend certain locations, and you can see he's trying to break up this ramp, but when your army is mostly lurkers, it's not the best thing. It's not the easiest way to do so. Nice Plague there on the Dragoons. We have another Plague ready, and it's plagued some of the Zealots and the Reavers also. Gornage has a ton of production. See 3 hatcheries there, 2 at his other base. But it's also hard to macro like this. You really want one large cluster of hatcheries, really. If you had like 6 hatcheries here, instead of having them all spread out like this. Oh yeah, just lacking in the production. Zerg can easily remax, plus lags behind in that respect. And we have Lynx coming in from the south. Lurker, Ling, Defiler from the left. But again, just a lot of lurkers. Very hard to attack with this number of lurkers. Hydras and Lings reinforcing the position. And this will be much more effective. It's like Gornage in the meantime double expanding, going up to 8 bases. It's hilarious how long Zerg mains and naturals keep mining. And here comes Gornage again. But again, look how many lurkers this is. Lurkers just clumping up, taking a long time to burrow. But it looks like he just has too much, and he is going to be able to break this position. You're losing that mineral only base, which wasn't really a high priority base, but this location on this high ground is key. Not that many minerals left. Looks like Gornage wants to keep on attacking. He wants to hit 12 o'clock base from 2 angles, but 4 Reavers here, 5 Reavers here. It's like he's playing random tower defense, just massing up those Reavers. And again, with mostly lurker army, it's hard to break positions. It looks like not that many cannons left and only Reavers, but looks like Oya is going to be able to reinforce this with ground army. All the Reavers go down, but we still have some cannons, and his reinforcements will allow him to defend the space. Not the most efficient trade there for Gornage, but he has set up a 7th base. He has an 8th ready to be saturated. Oh yeah, finally has a supply lead after those trades went in his favor. But he's lost another base, and well, he's lost 1 base and he's about to lose another. Looks like he still has enough units here, and now with DTs mixed in, it's hard for Zerg to attack without detection. Looks like we have a Reaver drop at bottom right and also the natural. Now the Reaver's going into this other base. Nice harassment here. Wish I could see the Reaver kill count. Hatchery's actually very low health. And this is a way for Oya to put pressure back out on the map. It's still going to be very hard for him to attack. Look how difficult it is for any base to be attacked, basically. It's always a ramp or a high ground. And I think the best option for PZ on this map is just to go for split map. There's not that many bases left. He only has to take this quadrant really, and then he'll effectively have split the map, but that's easier said than done. Oh, I mean, he doesn't have vision, but that was the fastest I've seen a Reaver go down against Zerg. If Oya can keep Gornage's economy low, you can see Gornage isn't max, has a very low mineral count. If you can just keep harassing, it'll allow him to build up his mass, retake back map control, and then start taking some of these bases in the top left side. That's the most effective way he can come back in this game. We see Gornage doesn't have minerals in his first 3 bases, but he still has a ton of mining. So Oya really needs to be effective with this harassment. Finally see a Spire, actually very late Spire. And we have 6 Reavers now, but where do we attack as Oya? This is probably the last place you want to go, but it's also the closest. Looks like we have Gornage coming in. Oh, but he's getting blanketed by storms. All the lurkers going down. There's no observer here, I don't think. We're running dry on some of his bases now. You see he's back down to just only this and this base. Very low on minerals on both, and it's very hard for him to take a next base. He can take top left. Gornich is ready for that. Gornich also with 3-3. Both players fully upgraded. Actually, Oya just needs that shield. And then again, here we go. He wants to attack this base, but there are lurkers on the high ground. He's not leading with the Reaver. He's going in with Zealot Archon. The Observer goes down. There's only one more left. Reavers being unloaded. But you see all the Zealots and Archons have gone down. It's only Reavers now. Not the best engagement from Oya. A little bit of a desperation play there when you have plenty of time to start shelling at the lurkers with the Reavers. It looks like Gornich is going to be able to get to that position faster, and Oya's army gets cleaned up yet again. And he's down to one mining base. And after losing what was 6 Reavers, a ton of Archons, he's left again with only Zealot and Dragoon. He needs Splash to combat Zerg, but what he really needs is economy to keep making units. Zerg still very healthy. 3 bases mining, 4 bases mining. Looks like he wants to take another mineral only on the top left, and if he can take any of these bases in the top left, there's just not going to be enough left for Oya on the map. You can see how effective 3-3 cracklings are against fully upgraded Protoss. Zealots start losing value when they can't trade efficiently against Zerglings. And then we have another hatchery, another base for Gornich, and Oya can't take any base. Basically, he's only going to be able to take one of the top left bases, and how can he do that without an army size sufficient? Here we have Probe trying to go and head out, but Gornich is ready. We have this base being set up. As soon as Oya sees that, he'll try to kill this. He can't really allow Zerg to take any more bases. He really needs to keep harassing. We have Patrolling Scourge to deal with incoming shuttles. We have Gornich unburrowing everything. He's going to go for the attack. And here we have the last group of the remnants of Oya's army. 3 Archons, 2 Reavers, some High Templars. High Templars getting cut off. They need to storm, double storm there. And here comes the full surround from Gornich. Very, very, very nice game from Gornich. I think he was at a deficit early on, but slowly turned that into an advantage, and it was just one big engagement where he controlled better. Oya's still microing, still trying to get something done, but you can see he's running out of gas here. And there's a GG, and with that, Russia is still alive, and we're gonna go into the next set. It's gonna be DeWalt against Kame. Still a chance for Sweden to pull it out. If they can get a win, they can avoid the ace. Right in the top left, we have RK DeWalt as the brown Protoss representing Team Russia. And in the bottom left, we have the teal Zerg Kame representing Team Sweden. This is going to be a very intense match. Russia 1 win away from tying it up, coming back, forcing the ace. here we have the walk going out with that probe. Gonna set up that natural pylon. Does he go back in the main? Does he go out to scout? Map is eclipse. Looks like the Walt's gonna mine at his natural once. Tons of PVZ today. I think every time. Oh, there we have that mineral boost. And it's a 9 pool from Kamezerg. Gotta mine this patch to see it, but 9 pool against 10 gate from DeWalt. DeWalt will see this with his scout. And we have the gas trick to get that extra drone. Full saturation now by Kamezerg, and he'll have this extra drone to make the hatchery or also scout with. Now you could fake the expansion to throw the wall off. The wall could think, okay, this is an overpool. Let me go block this. Overlord's done, and here we're gonna see a 6-lings, and the wall just too smart for this. Or actually, no, he's gonna stay around, linger, deny what he thinks is an expansion attempt a little bit longer. And you always want to scout the main. You always want to scout the main. And then we have the first 6-lings by Kamezerg. And then a drone, and behind this DeWalt, getting that second zealot out. And there's the expansion by Kamezerg. Leaves 1 ling behind to deal with this probe. Already see a response by DeWalt. He's not making that nexus before that 3rd pylon. Wants a non-stop produce zealot to deal with this Zergling pressure. He's bringing some probes. It's gonna come down to micro here. He has to be careful. Doesn't want to let these lings get into the main. Kamezerg targeting the probe, which is smart. Now the zealot won't be able to 2-shot the lings with support from the probe. And we have DeWalt going for that nexus, not going for that forge. Feels confident enough in his control. One thing I don't like is that he sent out his probe all the way out to the left, top left of the map, without scouting how many lings were made by Kamezerg. Nice block at the ramp, and looks like Kamezerg wasn't able to accomplish much with those Zerglings. Only got the 1 probe. Looks like the Walt's probe is gonna go down. He's retreating. But he really needs to get that scouting information. Kamezerg has made a ton of lings. And DeWalt only now getting that forge. He already has the gas up. 11 Zerglings, link speed on the way. We have the Overlord at the front spotting. And now we see Kamezerg is just going to drone up. Really doesn't have to make any more Zerglings until he sees DeWalt is ready to move out. But DeWalt, upon seeing the Zergling speed, I'm pretty sure he won't commit to an attack. We have 1 zealot being hidden out on the map. Nice drone saturation, 9-7, and we're seeing some added at the 3rd now. This looks like another zealot by DeWalt moving out. He really wants to scout. Looks like this zealot's gonna head to the 3rd, and then that'll open the path to the natural with this other zealot. Even more lings by Kamezerg. He's gonna get on top of the zealot. DeWalt's second hidden zealot not moving out, and immediate surround on that first zealot. But he did scout the number of lings and that they have speed. Second gas and Stargate, and +1 just now starting for DeWalt. Look how patient he is with the zealot. He's really in the dark. Gonna wait for that target to confirm what Zerg is doing. And he's gonna see that Kame is just going for 5 hatch. No lair. Gonna use Hydras to defend from the Corsairs. Droning up a lot. But he did invest in a ton of Zerglings. So in the meantime, just going for standard Corsair. He's gonna scout with it and then determine what to do with the rest of his build. In the meantime, he's just preparing 1-1, ground and air. Surprised he's actually chasing and hitting this Overlord. Getting that anti-mutant cannon, which he doesn't need because he's not scouting. He doesn't know that. And he is going to be able to kill this Overlord. Hundred speed on the way for Kame Zerg. And now the Wald's going to scout the main. He's going to see Zerg doesn't have a lair. He already canceled the anti-scourge cannon. So he's fully aware of what Kame Zerg is doing. And he's moving out with his first group of Zealots. Kame Zerg actually doesn't have vision at the front. He's very curious. Well, Overlord was forced to retreat, but you should always keep at least one Zergling in front of Protoss base. But with this ramp and enough Hydras, he should be able to easily defend from this early Zealot attack. How many Corsairs do we have? We have 3 Corsairs here. While the Hydras shoot the Zealots, the Corsairs will be able to deal with this Overlord. Zealot speed is about to be complete, but the wall gets fully surrounded, and looks like he still wants to put on some pressure with the Corsairs. But after killing off all those Zealots for free, as long as Kame Zerg can unblock himself, he will be able to just drone up heavily. The Walt senses that counter pressure coming, and his storm timing is actually very late. That's why you see him adding even more cannons. One thing he's doing is he's keeping Kame Zerg's supply block so he can't reinforce his position so effectively. And because Kame Zerg has such a late lair, you can see it's only starting now, he knows DTs will be able to keep him safe against Hydra busts of any kind. So Kame Zerg wisely just droning up. We should see a 6 hatch pretty soon. And the wall only now adding his gateways. He's going up to 6 gateways. Six hatcheries from Zerg. DT patrolling out on the map, trying to see what Zerg is up to. If there's another hatchery he should be worried about. And with 5 Corsairs plus 1, I think his probe is to stack them. We can see the wall getting that full scouting information out. Plus 1 almost done for Zerg. Protoss going for plus 1 weapons and then plus 1 armor. First High Templar being added, the wall going up to 8 gateways now. Overlord speed and lurker for Zerg. One of the Corsairs goes down patrolling. And we've transitioned into a very, very normal game. The wall finally killing that egg, so it'll allow Dragoons to come out. Robo finally being added now. It's actually a late robo at around 10 minutes. Usually after robo starts, we see that Dragoon range being researched. Surprised Kame Zerg didn't take that opportunity to take a 4th base. Looks like again, the wall just being super annoying with the Corsairs. Like 1 kill. 3, 0. 0, 0, 1, 1. But he had another Corsair that died, and it looks like the wall's moving out. But this is a very risky attack, moving out with only Zealots and High Templars. He does have a DT, but it gets sniped. Moving out like this, if you lose this fight, you won't have map presence for a long time. But it looks like the wall not gonna commit. Gonna use this high ground here. Another High Templar arrives, and he's just staying here, really not advancing further out on the map. It's like, oh, this is so risky. Surprised he didn't morph an Archon with those High Templars. Looks like Kami'Zerg smartly moving his Hydras to flank. Snipe these High Templars before the Zealots get... Oh, but there's so many Zealots from the wall. He actually just kept making Zealots. He hasn't made a single Dragoon quite yet. Another High Templar at the back. Gonna get picked off, but the Hydras trade their lives for it. And how many Hydras are left for Kami'Zerg? Looks like about 15 Hydras, but he does have finally some Lurkers. Another group of Hydras from the third. Even though Kami'Zerg did kill all the High Templars, he did trade a ton of Hydras to do that. And now the Zealots are able to get on top of these Hydras and trade efficiently, but with these Lurkers finally arriving to support the Hydras, I think the wall is going to be forced to retreat. You can see he's coming in, 8 Zealots at a time coming in hot. He's getting Templar energy, still no Dragoon range. It's a very curious way to play. It's like the Zealots, we have 8 Zealots splitting up, each going to 2 different locations, and I think this might catch Kami'Zerg off guard. He's keeping all his units at the front. He droned up again. Still no 4th hatch, looks like, or 4th base. Looks like we're finally going to see that. This Hydra has to get on the rep to block, otherwise these Zealots are going to have free reign to this base. There's only 6 Hydras here. It's more than enough Zealots to deal with these Hydras. And another 8 Zealots are going into Kami'Zerg's net. So just really taking advantage of the fact that Kami'Zerg advanced with his army. Zealots are very mobile. You can see he's coming into the main, splitting off into the net, third and main at the same time. Doing a ton of damage. Kami'Zerg finally being forced to pull back. And the Corsairs also just being annoying. It's like another couple Overlords go down. Zealots are in the main net. Willing Jones to pull from 2 different mineral lines. Zealots at the third finally get cleaned up. The wall just massing up Zealots. Even more Zealots being made. Really delaying that Dragoon transition. But it worked. It really worked. It caught Kami'Zerg off guard. Has hurt his economy a ton. And we have the Zealot killing the drone that was going to take that 4th base. And behind this, Walt can securely set up his 3rd base. If I were Zerg in this position, I'd be very traumatized with those Zealot counters. And now after making 8 Zealots at a time, we see 8 Dragoons at a time. Well, 8 Dragoons, soon 16. And his army is looking stronger and stronger by the minute. Have Templars gathering energy. They have the energy upgrade as well. He's going to have a ton of storms soon. And even more Dragoons being added. Is he only making Zealots because he's run out of gas? Let's look at the upgrade. Zerg is on 2-0, getting Carapace now and melee. And Protoss is on 2-1 or 1-1 and getting weapons too. Another kill on the Zealot, probably a drone that was sent to take that 4th base. And here we go. Here comes a big attack. Kami'Zerg not set up with his lurkers. They're unburrowed. They're out of position. 1 lurker egg morphing here, taking a ton of damage from the Dragoons. Kami'Zerg really needs to come in and set up his lurker field before all his Hydras die. He unmorphs the lurkers. They die. The Hydras die immediately to a storm. And his position is getting broken. He still has enough storms. He's going to try to flank. But it's just coming in too little at a time. Too unorganized. The wall storming the units as they come in and reinforcing instantly. Trying to come in with some more Hydras. Weapons to finish for the Protoss army. Looks like we still have enough Dragoons left over to clean up And the wall just instantly reinforcing, bringing in more Zealots. High Templars also being sent across the map. Third base finally getting saturated, and Communist with the GG, and we're going to head to an ace match between Sweden and Russia. Whoa. Whoa, what happened there? What happened there?
Si te gustó este video, no olvides darle like. Y si aún eres nuevo y aún no te suscribes, te invitamos a hacerlo y a darle clic a la campanita. Recuerda que todos los días viernes estaremos subiendo nuevas guías y nuevo material, todo en relación con Starcraft remasterizado. Hasta la próxima, amigos.